Welcome to the Blue Byron Books Podcast. This is going to be a great episode. I am joined by Nadia, all the way in Saint Lucia.
Yes, all the way in Saint Lucia in the Caribbean, the beautiful sunny island.
It's sunny right now. Well, the sun's going down, but it's sunny today. There's snow
Is it a little
outside.
warmer? Is it getting a little bit
Uh,
better?
yeah, because I think the last time we talked, it was in the 20s or 10s. We had a stretch there
Yeah.
where it didn't get above 20 for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The 30s, it feels like it might as well be St. Lucia because
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, um, this is great. I said it to someone recently. I was like, man, the weather's so great today. You're like, what
Wow.
temperature is it? I looked it up on my phone. It was like 32.
Oh my
I'm like,
goodness.
oh,
From 30s, 30s has become great, you know. I mean, that is good for this time of the year where you are. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
what is it?
That
What is
wouldn't be
it by
bad.
you right now?
Um, probably in the 80s,
Yeah,
80 something.
yeah.
It's always in that range, always like with low 80s, mid 80s. Doesn't really go up to 90s too much. Maybe in the summer it might, but it tends to just kind of stay like 80 to 85, 86-ish type of vibe.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is a strange question. I'm always curious about this, but I think I know the answer.
Hmm.
Is it dark by you right now? Is the sun?
It is. Well, it's not too dark right now, but the sun has already pretty much gone down, starting to get darker. Sun sets around like once it's like kind of around 5. It starts getting dark. And it's like 6:16 right now. So yeah.
Okay. It's something I'm thinking about recently. Uh, Before we get into book questions,
Hmm.
this that like weather is often like this. What do you call it? Like small talk kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I find that it's so interesting to me because like on a daily basis, I'm talking to people around the world, and I'm very curious about like what the weather is like by them.
Because they're literally in like so far away from you. Like you're talking
Different
people,
geographies and
yeah,
stuff. And
like Asia, Europe,
yeah.
US. Like it actually is really different. So then the conversation becomes interesting, I think, when you guys are on like opposite ends of the world. It actually makes sense to have
Yeah,
that
and like
combo.
tropical versus desert versus
Yeah.
I don't know what the Midwest is called.
I don't even know.
I think it's just called depressed in the winter.
Because the Midwest is super cold, isn't it? That's like really
Uh
cold part of the US
yeah,
too.
in the winter. But
Yeah.
I will say this, especially recently, talking about the weather. The summers, the
Hmm.
Midwest is getting some of the best summers in the U
Really?
continental US because everywhere else is getting super hot or it's like,
Really?
you know, um but the
That's
Midwest got some
interesting.
nice summers.
Hmm. Okay. Midwest. Okay, I see you. I'm surprised by that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we have a lot of fresh water too, so that's nice.
When I think of nice weather in the US, like the only places I think of is like, well, automatically I just think of like, oh, like Cali or, like somewhere like that. So I'm like, okay, interesting that the Midwest has some nice summers. That's good.
Do you ever
Hmm.
think of New York?
I love New York, but it's like New York is just seasonal. So the summers are brutal and it's hot and it's pavement and city. Like I
Oh,
don't
I've
want
been,
to
I've
be,
been there in the
you know what I
summer. It is
mean?
not fun.
It is not fun. And it's like, I mean, I like the change of seasons, but it's extremes. I feel like New York is extremes because it can get really, really cold, snowstorm, super cold, snowed in. And then in the
Yeah, a
summer,
lot of
it can be
snow.
just absolutely brutal. I feel like it's not, there's no middle, like nice middle. Maybe springtime. Maybe springtime is that nice middle. That's like the closest I could think of
That's
for
actually
New York.
usually when I go to New York. It's either spring or fall.
That's probably the best time to go, like
Yeah.
temperature wise, I would think. Yeah.
Well, the winter wouldn't be too bad. They're usually about like 10 degrees warmer than where I am.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that's not too bad then. Yeah. You're
Okay.
in the cold. You're so cold.
Dude,
I can't do it.
one of my desktop pictures is Mexico City.
Oh my
I
God.
like in the spring, I like going somewhere really warm. Um,
Hmm.
gives me something to look forward to. And well, I'm actually planning, I'm scouting to be a snowbird, but yeah, Mexico City. Sunny and 80 every day when I've been there. Pretty great.
I would love to go there. It's on the list. Mexico City is on the list,
Yeah.
definitely. But you should come to Saint Lucia. I keep telling you, come to Saint Lucia. You'd like it.
Yeah, I we were talking about this last time, like islands and
Hmm.
like isolation. But I think you interpreted it the wrong way. It's
Yeah.
the less about emotional and cerebral isolation. It's more so like physical. Like if there's a disaster, then you're really isolated, you know?
That is true. You are. Because we're literally in the water, you know? We
Yeah.
are. We are actually isolated. We're a little landmass in the water, so
Yeah.
yeah, that is true. Are you scared that you'll like visit the island and there'll be like a tragedy or some like natural disaster happens and now you're like stranded and you can't get out?
Well, I was telling you before this, I was recording some videos for our social media, and I
Hmm.
brought up Jurassic Park, and they're on an island. Imagine you're on an island. Imagine if there
Yeah.
were dinosaurs on Saint Lucia,
Oh my God.
and
Please, I
and
don't
you
want to
gotta get
imagine
off.
that. That would be terrifying. I'm just gonna die. It is what it is.
That's what
It's
I'm saying.
over.
Like I'm like a
There's,
little nervous
there's
about
nowhere to
islands.
go. There's nowhere for me to go.
That's what I'm saying is like that isolation. I go, I don't know. The only way to find out is to really confront your fear, you know?
That is true. I think you
Yeah.
should just go. You don't have to go for long. Just go for like a little couple days or something. You just, feel it
Oh
out.
yeah. My parents have gone to Saint Lucia.
They have.
They loved it. The
Oh,
cocoa
wow. I didn't
nibs,
know that.
I
Oh
think they
yeah, the
brought cocoa nibs
cocoa nibs
back.
are very good. Hmm.
Yeah.
And this is where like they have Hotel Chocolat here, like the resort, the Hotel Chocolat Resort,
Oh, really?
where all of the food has like chocolate in it and stuff. It's so cool. I love it there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, shifting gears a little bit.
Hmm.
Uh, Writing and books.
Hmm.
How did you get interested in writing and books?
Honestly, it's just been like, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before too. It's just been like my form of escapism, like since I was a child, writing in books. Like since I was a kid, I just always was that kid that always has their head in a book and it's always reading, always writing. English class was my favorite class. I just like I loved being able to like explore all these different worlds through reading books. I think that's pretty much like it provided like this sense of solace for me that I could just open a book and I could have this like little movie in my head and I could go all these different places and talk to all these different people, experience these different things without like leaving or actually going
Yeah.
anywhere, just through reading a book. And writing is just therapeutic. Like as far as the writing goes, um I've always been passionate about it because it's just a great way for me to like express myself and expend my energy. It's something really like cathartic about journaling and just turning your experiences or whatever it is that you might be feeling into like a piece of art, like the written word. It's just really cool. So I've just loved this since I was a kid.
Do you find when you write
Hmm.
and it's on paper, do you view it then as art? You're talking about like a therapeutic process,
It
but when
is.
it's
I
on
think
paper, does it like automatically become art, you think? Like, do you feel that way?
there definitely is like a distinct, almost, well, I guess kind of difference in feeling from like let's say writing with like a pen and pad and paper and everything, and like typing something out, for example, either way, like it's still tactile. But I don't know, maybe it's just that old kind of traditional way of putting ink to paper that does feel very artistic, even like calligraphy and all that kind of stuff. It just feels you feel very ancient. I don't know how else to explain it, but like you feel very ancient, and it's just a nice feeling. And to look back and like turn the pages, you see your handwriting, like, across and bleeding through onto the next page and all that kind of stuff. There's just something nice about that tactile experience, I guess.
It's a nice use of word, tactile.
Yeah, it's just I like just feely, like tactile, I like it. I think because I'm a very sensory person, I like stuff like that. Yeah.
So when you're writing, do you mainly write in like physical, like pen and paper, or
I would say
like
it's a mixed bag because it's like you're not always walking around with like a pen and a notebook and paper and stuff. When I'm like at home, I often write like pen and paper because I'm in my own space, so I can actually like reach and get my journal or get my notebook and stuff, and I can actually write. But if I'm like on the go, like if you're on the go and an idea like springs into your head, or you see
yeah?
something, you want to write something down about it. Your phone is like the most convenient thing. You just jot it down in your notes or something like that. So I think it depends on like where I am at the moment.
So what's your process then? Like when you tactilely put it in your phone or computer, what do you do with it next? Like if I do that, I feel like it just gets lost in time and like I never look at it again. Do you
Like
do
when you
something
when
more
you
organized and more
like when you put it in your notes or something like that, you mean? Like just
well, yeah,
jot it.
like I have something in my head and then I'm like, I want to be tactile and I want to put it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no paper around, like your phone is a good thing. But I find
Yeah.
like whenever I put it on a phone or sometimes in Google Docs, I just like
Like
kind of
you don't go
forget
back.
about it. It just gets lost, you know?
I feel you. I feel you. I feel like I do try and make a conscious effort to like go back. Like I will go back into my notes and look through things all the time. And because I do that quite often, I think I naturally just kind of always end up stumbling across things that I may have forgotten. So nothing ever gets like permanently or truly lost because I'll be like, oh wait, I wrote that like a week ago. Let me revisit this, like I'll just kind of like go back into it. So to be honest, I don't feel like it gets too lost on my part, but that just might be because I'm perpetually on my stuff, like on my stuff. But
Do you ever go back and read notes from like more than a year ago? Like
oh yeah.
you
Oh
come
my
across
goodness.
a notebook and then
hmm Sometimes it makes me
what goes
cringe.
through your head when you read it?
Many different things. Sometimes I'm like, oh wow, like this is how I felt at this moment in time. Like, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes I go back and I'm like, wow, this year, at this time, I was going through this. Like, it'll spark back memories in my mind. So I'll be like, oh, that's why I was writing that. I'll be like, wow, you were definitely, some man must have had you upset or something, girl. Like, it'd be so many random things going through my head. Sometimes I'm cringing at it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's like really beautiful. Sometimes I'm like, that could like become a brand new thing or like even peace. Like it might inspire me to do something in the present. So many things go through my head when I'm like looking back at my writing.
Do you journal?
I do. I do. I
You
try
do that
to often,
physical or
but yeah, I physically write. So usually I'll try and like when I wake up in the morning, journal. Sometimes I don't though. I've been kind of lazy. I've been kind of lazy.
yeah. Huh. Yeah, going back and reading what you wrote. It's interesting.
Doesn't it make you feel weird sometimes? You're like, whoa, wow. Like, this is
It
how I felt.
does. And a lot of times I'm just like, so much more like advanced or like I've grown so much that I don't even like recognize it and I'm like what is
Mhm.
this? What are you doing?
You're like,
And
who's this
I look
stranger
at it
that
more
goes,
like you're an idiot rather than like
you're too hard on yourself.
yeah,
Why?
well,
You're just mean to yourself.
but then it's like later on I'm
Yeah,
gonna look back at like today and be
exactly.
like you're an idiot. Like,
Yeah. Definitely, like I can only imagine, like if if you have kept stuff over like a really long period of time, I can only imagine, like let's say you're like 30 now, and then you look back at something you wrote when you were like 18 or like 20, yeah, you're probably gonna find stuff that makes you feel like, what the hell is this? You know? Because you're at such a different period in your life, especially, So I do feel what you're saying when you're like, what the hell? Like this idiot wrote this. But like
what do
I
you
try not to be hard on myself.
yeah. When you journal, what do you like ask yourself questions or do you just kind of like write what's on your
Mm.
mind?
Sometimes I might ask myself questions, but most of the time it's really just random. I kind of just start talking in my head and I'm like, how do I feel? I guess I am asking myself a question.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, how am I feeling? Yeah, I never really actually thought about what you just said. Like, I guess I'm actively like asking myself how I feel in the moment, and then it just kind of spirals and just goes out from there.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Do you
Hmm.
have what would you say are three influential books on you?
Three influential. There's so many books that I love, so it's very hard to pick. So I'm gonna just say like the first three that come to my head. Like one
Okay.
of the first books that I really loved growing up was well, that like impacted me was Toni Morrison, um, the Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. We read that in high school, and I love that book. I mean, I just love Toni Morrison in general. I
Mm.
just like she's one of the greatest writers. She has such a like sensitivity to her writing, and her prose is so poetic. It's just the most poetic prose, and it's just like reading her was just like gut wrenching. When you read something and it just like really stings you in like the deepest crevices of your soul. You're like, oh my goodness. That's how I feel when I read Toni Morrison's book. And I feel like also, just like the experience of like, you know, that book in particular, dealing with like image and beauty and I guess even like how beauty is like political, like the politics of beauty and the way that
Mm.
you see yourself as a young Black woman too. I think, it had a really big effect on me, especially being young, like as a teenager reading that, like, wow, like what societal standard or lens do I like see myself through? So that book was really impactful for me. And I think another one that I really like, I love Herman Hesse. Herman Hesse is a writer that I really love. I do. And I, what's this smile about?
No, I'm just well first, before we
Mhm.
move on about Toni Morrison, this right
Mhm.
here is the Radiant Notebook. So like
Mm.
speaking of notebooks, something I
Mhm.
used like I like physically writing stuff down. And
Yeah.
so I would go through all these notebooks
Mhm.
and they're usually like the moleskin and they're just like navy blue. And I was like, I went through one this last time around and I'm like, I want something with more pizzazz. I'm just gonna design my
Exactly.
own notebooks. So
Amen.
then we designed three, the Aspire notebook, which is like
Mhm.
I assembled quotes from my favorite men that I've learned from throughout the years. And
Mhm.
then the Radiant notebook is quotes from women, radiant women that I
Oh,
like.
wow.
And Toni Morrison has a quote in here. So she's featured. There's probably like five quotes from her in here. Can you
Mm-hmm.
guess the quote that I have in here?
Where is it? Like where it's from?
Well, it's a Toni Morrison quote.
Hmm. I don't know. Tell me the quote.
Okay.
Tell me.
Nadia, if you want to fly,
Mm-hmm.
you have to give up the things that weigh you down.
See?
Toni Morrison.
See? Don't you love her? Don't you just love her?
That's a good one. That's a
Isn't
good
she
one.
great? Mm.
So then when I go through these notebooks, I just finished the Aspire notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know how I usually do. I it's basically like having a piece of scrap paper, but it's organized. It's like in a book
Mm.
and I date all of them. Uh, and then I take photos of them and then I upload them. So then I have a digital database of them. Trying to think of
Mm.
another one we got in here.
I need to get this notebook. Maybe I need
No, it's on Amazon. You can get it.
I need to
Okay,
get
here's
one of
another one by Toni Morrison. At some point in life, the world's beauty becomes enough.
Ooh, oh wow.
It's
I like
sharp.
that. That's so like relevant to what I was almost saying as well. Wow. I just love
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
I
Her
just
and
love everything she says.
yeah, I have a couple of Herman Hesse books in the office. Got
Ooh, Siddhartha.
Siddhartha.
I have the exact same copy of Siddhartha over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, Siddhartha is one of my faves. But you know which one? I don't know if you've read this one. Have you read Damien by Herman Hesse? That
No.
is one of my absolute favorites. So I feel like that book has a very big effect on me as well. Damien by Herman Hesse. It's kind of like this technically I guess you could consider it like a Bildungsroman coming of age, kind of story because it centers around this young boy and he's kind of learning who he is. He's going like through this process of like this Jungian individuation type of process that he's going through. And it's so interesting. Hess writes beautifully. You know, because you've read Siddhartha, so you know he writes very beautifully and it all his writing has like this spiritual kind of element, this like
Yeah.
transcendental element to it. And that's all up and through Damien. And I love that because it's centered around like identity and kind of like how you're forming your identity and discovering who you are as you go through certain stages in life. And I love anything like that. So that one is a big one for me. And the third one, if I had to pick like a last one, um, honestly, probably like Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. I love Mary Shelley. Frankenstein is a classic. Like
Frankenstein.
I could read
Huh.
Frankenstein a million times. I think that it is a master class in prose. I really do. I think it's brilliantly written. There are passages in there that are just so divinely written that like I just, you just kind of put the book down and you just like you just think like that. What I read is just so beautiful. Like the way that the monster's lines are the most beautiful lines in the whole book. He's so eloquent and erudite, but he's like this outcast from society, this monstrous thing to the world that's been like rejected by his creator and rejected by everyone because he's like, he's bestial and he's scary, but he's sensitive and he feels and he's intelligent and he's all these things. And I just love that story so much. He's like he's almost like Milton, like Satan in Paradise Lost, the Frankenstein. Like it's the same type of thing. Like why does Satan have the most beautiful lines in Paradise Lost, and you feel yourself sympathizing with the devil because he's so erudite and and it makes you question your own biases. I think a story like Frankenstein, it makes you, I think, question like perception and the judgment that you place on things because of appearance and there's just so many elements to it. So I love that story. I could read it a million times. I never get tired of it. And to think that she was like 18 when she wrote that is crazy. Like she was so young when
Oh,
she wrote that book, which is like that just blows my mind every time.
that's quite a standard. Like at
Yeah.
18, she wrote something that like 200 plus years
Mhm.
later, people consider their favorite or like the best.
Isn't
Like
that
that's
wild? That's just
she
so
didn't have a
crazy.
computer. She didn't have a typewriter. Probably not.
Did they have typewriters back then?
It's a great question. I
Actually,
was
this
just
is
thinking about that.
really,
I don't think so.
I don't even know. Who knows? Maybe.
So
Was it
she
like
wrote
a
it, but like
felt pen? Like, was it? I don't know.
that's so
That's a very good
that's a
question.
high standard. To like if like she can do that at 18 in like
Yeah,
1800, why can't anybody do anything today, you know?
exactly. That is, it just blows my mind. She's literally a teenager. She's just chilling. She's like, I'm gonna write one of the greatest stories ever.
Yeah. 1867 typewriter.
I feel like you might have typewriters back then. I wonder. Like that's old, but it's not like so terribly old that the thought of a typewriter seems impossible.
Do you ever write by candlelight? Like
Yeah.
just a
Oh,
candle, no
yes.
electricity. It's
Yes.
the best.
Well, not no electricity. You just want to turn my lights off.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I have
When
done
you
that
know,
before
yeah.
to be dramatic
Like in the
and get
morning,
the
like if you
feeling.
wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and it's just dark and silent, just light a candle, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's the best.
That yeah, then you start feeling real spooky. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. That's good. Hmm. Do you do that? Do you write by candle? Do you wake up at 4 a.m. and get the candles burning?
I used to. I wrote a novel, Gate of Clouds, and yeah, I would get up at like 3
Really?
4:30, and it was the best. Like you're so
Wow.
because in the morning that's when I have the most energy, and it's just silent. The world doesn't
Mm,
exist, and then so like
yes.
and then the candles are lit, and then all of a sudden it's the sun is up, and these candles are still going. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. And you blow them out, and
Doesn't it
it's like
feel
the
all
best.
very like ritualistic and special, like when you're doing that? Because I would think so, just the feeling of it, like
I feel like
very magical.
that early and like that setting, and I love like incense. So incense is going and
Same, same.
um
Get the incense, get a little scented candle, dim the lights.
no lights, just the
Yeah,
candle. And
just
no, it's so like um very present. Like to write
Mm,
and truly be present with every word that you write is
yeah.
something quite special and quite um difficult to achieve today in like an
Mm.
overstimulated world.
That's so true. I think that might be part of the reason why I prefer writing at night more than any other time, because it's just easier for me. There's less distraction in general, and like you said, the fact that the world is quiet and you can hear a pin drop, it's just white noise. It's much easier to kind of get into that mode when you don't have the hustle and bustle of life just kind of going on around
Yeah.
you. So I've always found myself like drawn to writing in the nighttime or just even being up at night in general, like while everybody else is sleeping,
Mm,
just being up. I think I'm a night owl, definitely. So it's a little bit more of a labor of love sometimes to be disciplined and make sure like I write in the morning, like stuff like that. I have to make sure I do it. Like I have to actually tell myself
mm,
I'm gonna write now in the morning. Whereas in the nighttime, it'll just kind of come more naturally without me having to like really prod myself to do it? So
yeah. Hmm. When you're reading, do you pay attention to language more, or feelings or ideas? Like what stands out to you when you read?
I think, it's so interesting you asked that because I'm like, have I ever really sat and thought about the way I'm feeling while I'm reading? Not really, like not necessarily. I feel like the feeling has always been more in an afterthought, like after I've read the thing. And now
Hmm.
I close the book and I sit with myself and I'm like, oh, like that made me feel whatever. But as I'm like actively reading, I think the focus tends to be more so on the actual language or the ideas, like the way that this author, because you know how these writers, they all have like a distinct style of writing. And it's really interesting to see like the way certain authors convey their thoughts or how they set things up, the way that they write. So the language is of like a really particular interest to me because I'm like, interesting that they use that choice of words or. And then the ideas, definitely the ideas, because I'm always thinking about, like what are they trying to say here? Because there may be like the surface idea, but like there's layers. Like what are they really trying to convey and tell me here? So I feel like my focus tends to be on that when I'm reading.
What about like on a, I'd be very curious to know this. On a daily
Mhm.
basis, what does your consumption of creativity look like?
I feel like I'm consuming creativity in so many different ways. Um, More than just like even reading books or writing. Like it could be like a podcast that I'm listening to or a movie that I'm watching. Or like just randomly scribbling and drawing. Sometimes I'll just be drawing stuff. Like there's so many different things that are like creative happening around me. I love watching films. I think that's probably one of my like favorite ways to consume creativity is watching films because they do so much for me in a creative mindset. Like it can spark ideas into my mind. I'll watch a movie and then just start writing after watching a movie because it's like flared up all these different ideas in my head. Like certain movies will really do that to you. Music too, like definitely. Yeah, music as well. Listening to certain songs will take you on like a trip. Like music will take you on a trip for sure. And then you find yourself like wanting to create something, or even if you're not physically creating, just like ruminating, like being in a creative headspace. So I feel like I'm always kind of consuming things, like doing different things. So
Nice. Do you ever do you notice patterns in the like works of art that you're drawn to?
I do. I think that I tend to be drawn to. I guess everything is psychological in a way, but I think I'm really drawn to just psychological things. Like I love, like even when I was, now when I think about it, even like the books that I named, they all seem to have commonalities, like all these themes of identity and trying to understand oneself, or like how you view the world, how the world views you back. I think I'm very like drawn to like introspective type of things where I have to like look inwards and see how that like reflects outwards a lot. So there definitely is a pattern, even in art, like you look at certain works of art, like Francis Bacon and stuff like that. It's really like psychological, like it's almost kind of visceral. You see some of these images because it's like a study of perception. I guess I'm really interested in how I view the world and how others view it, and how we all kind of interact with each other.
Hmm. What was your favorite film?
Hmm. It's hard to pick one. You see,
Pick
as you
three.
know,
Pick three films you find interesting.
okay, just three that I find interesting. Okay, I uh okay, I love City of God. I love that film.
Okay.
That's a favorite. That's a really good one. Set in Brazil, and you're just kind of watching like the life of these youths and the struggles of their day to day and the gang violence, and it's really just cinematically like the landscape, like the way it's filmed is really interesting to me. I love things that are like directors that really focus on place a lot too, like the way
Yeah.
that they showcase a country and stuff as well. So that's interesting to me. I love that film. Um, I also really like, well, I recently, after I hadn't watched it for a long time, but I rewatched Elephant Man by David Lynch, and that film makes me cry. I need to stop watching. I can't. David Lynch films are amazing. I love David. Anything from David Lynch is gonna be on my list, but that film is one of my favorites. And there's the whole theme of, the visuals once again. Elephant Man is like this nobody. People see him and they're just like they're terrified. But he's like the most gentle person, like this the kindest person. But that's a great film. That's a really good film. And hmm, another one that I really like. I hmm. Oh, I love, what film I really like? Have you ever seen um Ka Kama Sutra, A Tale of Love? I love that movie.
I
That
don't think
movie
so.
is so beautiful. So it's based on like the teachings of the Kama Sutra, but it's like, loosely based. And it follows these two, well, they're not sisters. These two Indian girls and their journey. One of them is getting married. She's getting married to like a prince or something. And then the other one, she ends up um she was kind of like the other girls. I wouldn't say servant, but kind of looked at like the lowlier girl, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So like she also had a night with the prince. She did have a night with the prince that the other girl
Okay.
was marrying because he was actually in love with this one. And then you see her story when she gets outcasted and she's like, outcasted from the village and she goes off on her own and she goes to learn what the courtesans are learning in the temples, and they're learning about the Kama Sutra and these feminine teachings of how to like embody femininity and just that beautiful essence of that goddess self. And it's so
Nice.
beautiful. Like I love that movie is cinematically gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's so delicate. Everything about the movie is so delicate. It's so sensory, like you feel like you're there. You feel like you're experiencing these things, and your heart breaks with her when her heart breaks, and you celebrate when she celebrates. And it is actually quite sad because it's one of those movies where like there really is no happy ending, unfortunately. There's
Mm.
no happy ending, but it's such a journey. Like I love that film so much. I could watch it a million times.
Yeah,
You should
there's some
watch that.
interesting choices.
I want you to watch that movie.
Kama Sutra,
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
delicate, as you say.
It has this delicateness to it.
You have some interesting word choices.
I do I? I don't know. I'm just a weirdo.
Yeah. Do you find yourself more influenced by people from the past or contemporary?
That's a really good question too. Um, I feel I don't know. I feel weird almost saying past because I know I'm living in this day and age. I'm living in the present. But when I think about it, I feel like it does lean towards the past because I'll often look towards the past to help me understand in the present. You know what I mean? Like that's what we do all the time. You know, when they say history repeats itself and all, like those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. Like we're always looking back. You know, sometimes it's like you have to go backwards in order to go forwards. So,
Yeah.
I do I do think that I tend to take inspiration from the past often because as soon as I am confronted with anything in the present that I don't understand, like when our figureheads and leaders of the present are confusing me, I go looking towards the past to try and understand the present. So it's like
Mm.
I think I look towards the past more, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
That's so
Um,
interesting to think about. That's a great question.
yeah.
Do you feel like you look towards the past more or
Yeah.
the
As
present?
far as influence goes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when I go through an art museum, I feel like I'm communicating with the artists. And most of them are
Mm,
dead. They don't feel dead to me. They feel very much
mm,
alive. And it's like we're
yeah.
having conversations and it's like they can understand things that
Mm,
contemporary people can't understand. Like
yeah. It's just
it's like an interesting thing, you know?
it is interesting.
Uh, okay, so your creative process. How would you
Hmm.
describe it at its best? Like let me into your world. What does this look like?
Is it kind of like the ritual of how I have to create? Um,
Yeah, like your
well,
environment, routine, like
yeah.
all that.
I feel okay. Well, similar to you, let's get some mood lighting. Maybe not complete darkness. But
Yeah.
let me get some mood lighting. Usually,
Speaking of darkness and light, I
Oh,
always go the yellow light. I don't like the
I
white.
like yellow
I
too.
don't like
Yeah,
white
it's
lights.
softer.
Yeah.
White is hard, it's harsher. Um,
Yeah.
Now you're illuminated like an angel.
Yes, like an angel.
Exactly. But yeah, I feel like I need my environment to just be like in a certain mode. So like yeah, get some nice kind of mood lighting going on. I will also do the whole incense and like scented candles. I really just want to be in a really relaxed state. Maybe it might put light music on, it depends because like sometimes music can be distracting. Sometimes it's okay. So like I'm maybe I'll put something on in the background and I just need to feel like I'm not gonna be interrupted. So it tends to be nighttime. So no interruptions, very quiet time of the night. Um, I need my senses to be engaged, so I need my incense and all my scents and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then I can like sit down and just allow myself to kind of write. Sometimes I'll try and write from just seeing whatever random words like kind of come into my head because I don't want it to be forced. So it's like if there's a phrase that pops up in my head or a word, it's like, okay, just jot that down and expand from that. Sometimes it might be images. Like maybe I'll just close my eyes and I'll see something in my head. You know, maybe you see a scene and then you start writing about the scene and what you see or whatever that image inspires as far as words go. I'll just start writing and then I'll just see what happens. And I'm not trying to make it make sense.
Hmm.
Like at this point, nothing has to make sense. It can seem like gibberish. It can seem like
Yeah.
absolute gibberish. That's fine. Because after all the gibberish is like written down or typed out, when I look back, there's like coherence there. There's some idea that things are making sense. And then you kind of weave it. I'll weave it together. What works, what makes sense together. Some things, if it doesn't work, I'll just take it out. Like maybe it'll be separate. Maybe that's another thing, you know? But I just kind of, it's almost like scrapbooking, but like like
Yeah.
scrapbooking with your
With
mind
thoughts.
and your thoughts. Yeah.
Huh. How do you balance discipline and intuition when you're making meaningful work?
Hmm. Well, I feel like so many things come intuitively. And even though things come intuitively, like it doesn't, as far as discipline goes, it's like you now need to kind of like chisel that, if that makes sense. You kind of have to like refine it into um being this disciplined body of work or this disciplined thing. Because intuitively, it's like you're just kind of allowing yourself to feel. I feel like that's the feeling part of the process. When you're working intuitively, you're just kind of letting things come out of you. Um, but in the midst of that, that's also kind of like when you don't feel things just naturally coming out or happening intuitively, sometimes you feel like, oh, I can't write or I can't do anything. And
Mm,
that can be a problem because now it's like you're only relying on allowing yourself to feel like the quote unquote spark in order for you to
yeah.
create. But it's like there are times where you really may not be feeling that spark. So what are you going to do? Are you going to just like not write at all? Or, so it's kind of like you do have to discipline yourself. Like I'll have to discipline myself and be like, I may not necessarily feel super inspired intuitively, like at the moment, or have something that's just natural, free flowing. Not that I'm gonna try and force it, but I'm still gonna like produce something. Like, like I'll write something. So it's like I have to discipline myself to not only wait for like moments of epiphany to do things because everyone wants that. We like that because it just feels better to write like that. It does. I hate having to really feel like, I'm trying to like do this thing. I like feeling everyone wants to feel effortless and like it just comes naturally to them all the time, but it doesn't always, So
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
isn't it? Like, how do you deal with that? Like, when you feel like you don't have like that spark to write, but at the same time, you're like, I want to write. You know what I mean? It's like,
Um, I feel like I've like hit the point where I know that like mornings I have my best energy and focus.
mm-hmm,
So like it's usually in that window. And
mm,
then it depends on like the focus. Like when I was writing
mm-hmm,
my novel, it was
mm-hmm,
like every day I show up and then like I got a direct channel to the divine. It
mm-hmm,
was like always no issues with like flow.
mm,
And but I find myself in other times, that's such like a big project that you just kind of show up and it does its thing.
yeah,
Whereas if you have like scattered projects or scattered creative things going on,
mm-hmm,
I've had issues where not necessarily getting into it, but like hitting walls quicker.
mm, yeah,
Or like when I'm looking at my screen a lot, I just kind of like know, like intuitively know, like, bro, you need to step away from the screen. Like it's
yeah,
like doing
like just,
something, you know,
yeah,
and go for a walk or I don't know, anything else. But um I don't know, designing a space and routine that you just like get the best out of yourself.
mm,
Even if it's
yeah,
just for like a short amount of time.
that makes sense. Yeah, like that repetition of things in a
Well, like
way.
at least if you can get
Yeah.
something going, like something
Mm-hmm.
on paper, um, or on screen, just get something started, get something going, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's true. That's true.
but I don't get the like the certainly for ideas, I don't get creative like art blocks, creative blocks.
Mm-hmm. So you never feel you're like, I'm never out of ideas. There's always
No, I
ideas.
have infinite
Yeah.
amount of ideas.
Infinite
And
amount of
that's
ideas.
why like
Yeah.
I'm more and more collaborating with other people.
Yeah.
So like we'll never run out of ideas.
Hmm.
I'll run out of energy or like time or like resources, but like if we do it more together, we have infinite ideas, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Do you
Yeah,
drink
I feel
caffeine?
like,
Have I asked you about this?
oh, what? Do I drink caffeine?
Yeah, you drink coffee
I'm
or anything
I'm not like a
during
big
this?
coffee drinker. Rarely. Rarely. I drink a lot of tea. I'm a big tea drinker.
Yeah, I think we have talked about this before.
I
Green
think
tea?
so.
You're into green tea?
I do like green tea.
Yeah.
Green tea, ginger. I like ginger, chamomile. What else? Pomegranate green tea. Very nice.
I've been
What
lately
do
in my
you
mornings, I've been double fisting with uh
do?
with espresso and herbal tea.
Really?
Yeah, with like herbal tea with like a lemon in it. And
Oh,
I
this
find that
sounds fancy somehow. It sounds fancy.
I drink out of fancy glasses.
I'm not
Not
surprised.
right
I'm not
now. Like this,
surprised at all.
all my glasses look like this. Not
It
specifically,
makes
but
sense.
variations of like crystal stuff.
Somehow that is exactly what I expected.
Usually I'm drinking straight auto. I've been on an auto drip kick in the office.
Yeah.
I'm in the office right now.
Hmm.
But like a lot of times, I'll drink espresso from cordial glasses. It's all
Really?
about what you drink out of that I think makes you feel a
It just
certain
make you
way.
feel, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so like the herbal tea, I drink out of like a
Mhm.
glass mug, like not a ceramic
Oh.
mug or plastic. It's like this glass mug.
Hmm.
And I find I drink less espresso or coffee later
Really?
because it's just like, I don't know, it
Hmm.
like elevates me and then the herbal tea like balances me. I don't know.
It's regulating you.
I had a cold
Regu-
recently and I was like, I was drinking some herbal tea and I'm like, yeah, this stuff is
Mhm.
great. I love this stuff. But yeah.
Wow.
So
I need to get
do you
like
use
you.
green
I'm
tea
gonna
when you're
start.
writing and stuff or what?
Sometimes it's tea, sometimes wine. I do quite like to have a glass of wine while writing. I can't lie.
What kind of wine?
Maybe Merlot, a nice little glass of Merlot, a little glass of Shiraz, just a
Oh,
little, just
Shiraz. Yeah, I like
yeah,
Shiraz. Yeah.
yeah.
Merlot, not so much.
No, is it too dry?
Yeah, I don't really like the dry
Too dry.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe some Rioja or something.
I choose wine based on the labels actually. Whatever's the
Mm.
most regal looking label at the store, that's the one I get.
I know I can tell all this simply by looking at you, Rich. Your name is literally Rich. You're meant to be rich and
That's true.
luxurious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, they say a name becomes you. Your name is means a lot in your life. So you like rich experiences, you know? You want to feel,
yeah.
yeah, it makes sense.
But rich means many things,
It
doesn't it?
does. It does. Hmm.
Yeah.
It has multiple meanings. But I feel like all of the meanings have to do with a certain quality of experience. They all
Mm.
have to do with a certain quality of experience.
I'm very much into the richness of life.
Exactly. The richness of life, some nice rich food,
Yeah.
all these things, the richness of things, rich colors, vibrancy, all of that.
Yes. Yes.
Very sensory as well.
Yeah. That's a word you've mentioned 3 times now. Word
I'm all
choice.
about the
Really interesting
sense.
word choice. What's your favorite word to use if you were to just like drop a line?
I don't know if I have a favorite word. Egregious. That's just
Okay.
egregious. No,
That's a good one.
I don't know. It's just the first one that came into my head.
Yeah, I recently in 2025 I stopped using the word excited. I've
Oh,
removed excited from my
hey.
vocabulary and
Mm-hmm.
substituted energized.
Oh, I feel energized. Yeah.
See, excited.
Hmm.
I was watching a music video from one of a French producer, one of my favorite artists, music artists, uh, Louis Hoffman, and
Mm.
it starts off like he says, if someone says, I have you a car, I got you a car, it's across the street. You're so
Mm-hmm.
excited that you just like go across the street, but then you can get hit by a car. Whereas
Oh.
if you're energized, you're a lot more focused and you're not like, you're more in control. So
Hmm.
energized is a word that feels more in control while it
Interesting.
still expresses similar meaning to excited.
Ah, that's very interesting. That's a really interesting thought. Like the simple little like connotation of words, even if they're similar, how like they produce a different like essence, I guess you could say. Because I see what you're saying. It's like excited kind of has like that childlike lack of structure, I guess, to it. Like you're just
Yeah.
excited. It's kind of just like this burst.
Yeah.
There's no like reins. You can't got there's nothing to like
Yeah, yeah.
fence around it, I guess. Whereas yeah, energized does seem more like focused, you know. It has like
Yeah.
an objective a little bit more than excited.
Yeah.
It's
I pay
interesting.
attention a lot to the words people use when they speak.
Mm.
I think it's an
Hmm.
interesting thing because it's basically just translating someone's mind, right?
Very true. That is true. It does say a lot about a person. The way that they speak, the words they use. I think it can kind of show a essence of their personality and just kind of how they exist, you know? Like some people use words a lot that are very some people may have like a very ostentatious, flowery kind of way of speaking.
Yeah,
And a lot of
ostentatious. I
times,
don't even know if I know that word.
yeah, it's like, you know, like very kind of grand um
Yeah,
way of speaking. And
I
it
feel
tends
like
to kind
more
of reflect
so.
them. Yeah.
I feel like more so I use like listening to language as like in a, like a binary sense where
Mm.
someone is either like negative or positive.
Mm.
Like in their language, are they
Interesting.
using like limiting language like can't or try,
Ah,
you know,
like
stuff
everything's
like that.
conditional.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so interesting. That's very like psychological. Yeah. Like you're getting
yeah.
insight into kind of like how they view the world through the way that they talk. Or how
And
they
then
view
based off of
themselves.
that, you
Wow.
know, like whether or not to like gravitate towards them or not more, or like
Uh-huh.
allow them and their presence to influence you. You know what I mean? Like, is this
Yeah.
someone I want to be around or should I stay away more? Language
Hmm.
does a lot. And also
It
lack
does.
of language, just or verbal language. You know,
Hmm.
nonverbal is just as interesting.
Huh. Like people that don't necessarily say a lot with words, but their mannerisms say a whole lot, you
Yeah, it's like
know.
you're never,
Yeah,
as a human, you're never not communicating, right?
that's true.
Like
You
I was
always
having
are.
this
Yeah.
conversation with someone yesterday. He was telling me about his son who's 2 years old, and he's
Mm.
shocked how like he picks up on mannerisms
Wow.
of himself or like other people, and he like performs them, you know? And it's just interesting, you know?
That's interesting. Especially because, you know, kids like they're just in that mirroring stage too. So they just like they mirror back to you like what you do to them a lot. Like you see them, they're like a sponge absorbing all of this. So mommy always like goes like this and the baby always goes like this and it's
Yeah.
like it's really interesting.
But then it's like, what what's different about a 2 year old than an adult? I mean, we're the same species, we're the same, you know, we're programmed kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just that, well, like biologically, we're the same creature. This one's just like young and
Yeah.
like not necessarily programmed yet.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So is it like you could see a toddler act out and
Yeah.
cry or get angry, and then if you see an adult get angry or like act
Mm.
out, it makes you wonder like, oh, like they're
You're like,
acting like a child. They never learned how to
yeah,
like not do this or like,
that's interesting.
evolve from it. I think that's an interesting thing.
Huh. And they're acting like a child because they're being uninhibited in their emotions. Like they're
Yeah.
not restraining. So as soon as you're not restrained, that's acting like a child, which is interesting. It's really interesting, especially then if you consider people that may be like neurodivergent and certain things as well too, that don't have like the same necessary like social cues as other people.
Yeah.
So whereas they may be naturally akin to some more of those like childlike outbursts or just really genuine expressions of feeling in a moment.
Yeah.
Whereas someone else would be like, no, you need to be restrained, in certain moments a little bit, because it's
Yeah.
adult more of an adult like thing to be restrained in certain moments. Like when you're elated, you know, just jump for joy. Like, you know what I mean? Like a child might do that or something, but there's nothing wrong with that, like per se, right? But you don't do it like just out in the open, like in normal interactions. But it's like, is it bad if you do? Is it bad that some people may more freely express that than others? As far as what's right and what's wrong, obviously we have some clear indications of what type of behaviors are considered wrong because they may potentially be harmful to others. But when it's ones that aren't necessarily harmful, but just a bit out of the ordinary,
It's just
how
judged
do
by
we?
society's
Yeah,
definitions in a way. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Do you ever get times where things are so well that you feel like you're floating and like nothing penetrates like an aura that you have uh like you're in a state of like bliss so much
Mm,
that anything anyone says it just like doesn't matter. It doesn't penetrate this like orbit.
mm. I think I have, yeah, I definitely have experienced that. That's like just being in your own world. You're just like vibrating at your own frequency at that point. Like nothing can really phase you. But I feel like I don't feel like I'm in that mode most of the time though. I would like to be. I
That's
don't
yeah, that's what
think
I'm
I
curious
am.
about. Like
I wish.
maybe I'm allowing other is it possible to be in that all the time?
I feel like to be in that type of mode most of the time would literally constitute a certain lack of awareness. And I'm not saying like it's bad that you have that lack of awareness, but I feel like it literally would require a certain lack of awareness because it's the fact that we're aware of so many things that we get pissed off at all. Like the fact, if I
So
wasn't aware, you
is
know?
that like a Jesus state? Was Jesus just
I
like
think so. This is like another level, like that Christ consciousness. You're
yeah.
on, you're vibrating on another level. Maybe it's something that only like Buddhist monks experience like all the time or something. I don't know. Because I feel like, funny enough, like because I'm aware, I can be happy, I can be joyful, but it's also because I'm aware that I can be upset. And I can be frustrated, I can be irritated because I have this sense of awareness. So if I just didn't have awareness,
But then you can if you
I
have
don't know.
awareness, you could backtrack and
You can
like
backtrack.
you could figure
Yeah.
out the source of what's
Yeah.
causing that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then you can make a judgment on that,
That's
whether
true.
it's truly is it just to feel this way or is it not, you know?
Yeah, then you can make a sound judgment of things and kind of work your way through it and figure it out. But as far as like not even getting to that point in the first place and just existing blissfully, I don't know if that's possible. I
Well, I know
wonder.
it's possible. I've experienced it before. But like
Like
how
sustained.
do you go like that? How can
I
you
mean
turn
like
it on? Like,
sustained. Like, do you think that state could be sustained throughout life constantly?
I don't know. It's worth a try though.
I wish.
But
I don't know, maybe.
I think you're right on
I wonder.
it's the absent of all the thoughts. It's the
Yeah,
absence of like
because
thoughts of fear or like
yeah.
smallness of things. You know what I mean?
hmm The
You're thinking about
absence of
such
thought.
small things all the time
Mm,
that like it
that's
blocks
key.
that kind of like flow of it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What kind of music are you listening to lately?
I listen to a lot of R&B, neo soul vibes. I listen to a lot of jazz. I love jazz, a lot of jazz. Um,
Who are some artists
lot-
within these? Like you
oh,
said
dang, let me name
R&B,
some more.
neo
So,
soul,
so as
jazz.
far as like R&B, neo soul, I love like a lot of like Erica Badu,
Yeah.
Erica Badu, Jill Scott. Um, I really like um I listen to a lot of older music too. I noticed that. Like, not that I don't listen to new artists, but I think we just tend to like the past, don't we? A lot of older things. So like um a lot of Marvin Gaye, Roy Ayers, um a lot of like Roberta Flack, like that kind of very like 60s, 70s, 80s. I like 80s too, because I think I like the era of like all the synths and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
like all that synth heavy kind of music. So you'll hear me listen to like Phil Collins and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Um, but I also like kind of like 60s, 70s rock, like a lot of Dire Straits, Steely Dan, all that kind of stuff. So don't ask why I'm like this, but it's what I like. I also like the grunge. Like I have my dark side. So I like the grunge era
Okay.
too. A lot of Alice in Chains,
Alice in
Nirvana.
Chains. Wow.
I
Yeah.
Alice in Chains is one of my absolute faves. Like absolute faves. I listen to Alice in Chains, Mad Season. I actually have the vinyl. I have it on vinyl. That Mad Season album, one of my favorite albums ever. That 90s, one of my favorite like albums of the 90s grunge era. Soundgarden, Incubus, all that. Like listen to a lot of stuff. It's a really mixed bag, to be honest, and it completely just depends,
Mm.
like on my mood. So you might wake up and want some jazz, blues, or some soul. Then as the day goes by, you might want to
Some
listen to
jazz
like some
artists.
hip hop.
Name some jazz artists you're
Um,
listening to.
I really I like to listen to a lot of Bill Evans. Bill Evans is good. Um, I like I do listen to Miles Davis quite a bit. Lonnie Liston Smith. Oh, yeah, I like Lonnie Liston Smith is probably one of my favorites too. Um, who else do I like? Sun Ra. Sun Ra is really good, but I feel like that type of jazz,
Sun Ra.
like Sun
Interesting.
Ra and all that stuff, it's like that psych jazz, like that psychedelic type of jazz. It's not as quiet as that. I can't really listen to that type of stuff if I'm trying to wind down. That's more so if I want to get energized, like that psych jazz type of stuff.
Nice.
Um, who else? Coleman Hawkins, really good. Sonny Stitt. I love jazz. I have a lot of jazz records. So, um, who else do I like listening to? Who do you like listening to? I'm curious who you listen to. Um, hmm. I'll get back to you when more comes into my mind.
Yeah.
What do you like to listen to?
It's actually an interesting thing. I was telling someone
Mm-hmm.
the other, I was telling someone the other day, I don't listen to any other artists anymore. I just listen to my music. So
Your own music.
yeah. So
Wow.
so I've been using AI and I've been using like
Really?
multiple sources to
Mm-hmm.
create. So I took the novel I wrote, The Gate of Clouds,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like autobiographical fiction. And so a lot of my
Wow.
life has been with music artists
Mm-hmm.
and musicians, creatives, and live performances, live shows. And I took these characters, these are music artists, and then created my own catalogs with them. So like
Wow.
last year I made 64 albums in all these different genres.
64. Sheesh. Okay.
My so then my Spotify Wrapped. So I have these characters, Benea, Raymond, Leon, and Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
And so then like because what I find, this is how it stemmed actually.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on a farm. I live on a farm, and twice a year, planting and harvesting season. That's my like audio deep dive. Like I'm
Mm.
on a tractor for, 10, 12 hours a day, just going back and forth. So that's when I'll like listen to my podcast episodes and explore music discographies, things like that. And so I used to record a lot with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so this band Bone Lane in Chicago is my favorite band, living band. The Beatles are my
Oh,
other
wow.
favorite. And I recorded with them live shows and filmed documentaries in their studio and did like podcast episodes for their paywall
Mm-hmm.
and went on tour with them and they went on hiatus and there's this like emptiness that I felt. And this other band, it's a French, I'm really into like French house, French pop.
Oh.
And the singer and the band separated. And so
Oh.
like this magic was kind of lost. I like felt like I couldn't really listen to the music just didn't hit me anymore.
Mm.
And so while I'm on the tractor, I'm going through all these recommendations and like nothing, it's not what I want.
Mm.
I know what I want to listen to, but I'm not finding it on Spotify and their algorithms just like aren't good enough. I don't know what it is. And
Yeah.
then if you do find something you like, they only have like two albums and it's just like this is a waste of my time. And like I'm very particular about like energy and focus and
Mm.
I don't want to
Mhm.
be spending my time.
Trying to find,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
something.
streaming services with Netflix and YouTube. I spend 80% of my time trying to find
Looking.
something that I
Yeah,
think I'm gonna
that's true.
like or whatever. So I started using AI, like ChatGPT, to write these like I collect vinyl records. So I have like 180
Mm-hmm.
vinyl records. And one of the books that I made was called Vinyl Records. And it was just like I took photos in my studio of each vinyl record
Mm-hmm.
and then wrote how I acquired it or like the significance of it personally. And then below it, I would do a 100-word summary of the historical or artistic significance of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was an idea, again, infinite ideas. One of the ideas I've always had, but there'd be so much labor spent on writing the like artistic and cultural summaries of these.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends were all telling me about AI, and I'm like, yo, I'll try it out. And then I wrote all those summaries And then on the tractor, we were done with the season, planting season, and I was like, I wonder what AI could do with music. And I was started with ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT can't make music on itself, but it can like help design prompts and lyrics
Mm.
and help me with other AI software that focuses on music. So we started off and we wrote not all my catalog is over in the office. I gotta fix that. But anyways, so I created this album and I'm like, this is what I want to listen to. Like this
Mm.
is what I want. And it was like this perfect moment. And then I went back like two more sessions to see if I could replicate that
Yeah.
like miracle, whatever happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me like two or three other sessions because there were like some issues, some kinks I had to work out.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, then I used one of the characters in the novel and just made music that she would make in the book,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, whatever, to where
Mm-hmm.
like it just expanded and I created an entire catalog. And then I make lyric books
Wow. Oh,
with
wow.
like the album covers. So the Beneo ones, they'll be like French
Mm-hmm.
and English. So they'll be like bilingual books and
Mm-hmm.
albums. Um,
Wow.
and then like Leon is I made with my friend and we make like Mexican metal. So and hard
Whoa.
rock, psychedelia.
That's cool.
And then Raymond is country. And so my
Wow.
Spotify Wrapped, my top categories were French pop and outlaw country. And I'm working on this other character now, Lucia, and she's in the Caribbean. And I
Oh.
take all the photos and album artwork is photos I've taken. So they're in my
Mm-hmm.
entire like iCloud photos. And I'm into photography, so I have just like thousands upon thousands of photos. So all the album covers are like now of Miami. And
Oh, wow.
like these are all from Mexico City. And
Mm-hmm.
actually the Beneo ones, all of them are the ones I took except this book, the French
Mm-hmm.
Riviera, because I've never been to the French Riviera.
Yeah.
So I'm able to create concept albums and sounds that I can't.
That you won't be able to find.
Yeah, I find
Yeah.
I have very interesting thoughts on like the music industry now and like conventional artistry within it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like only listen to my music now.
That's so fascinating. Like
It's
essentially
interesting,
created
yeah.
your own created genre for yourself. Essentially, that's basically what you did.
And I save so much energy and time because instead of scattering my focus trying to find stuff, I
Yeah,
know exactly
exactly
what
what
I
you're
will
gonna hear.
experience and what
Yeah.
I will feel because I
Mm-hmm.
designed it. I wrote
Yeah.
it. I like
There's no
made it.
guessing game. Yeah,
There's no
basically.
guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's so intoxicating to make music. It's like the best feeling ever. It's the best. Um, it's like all I want to do. It's so fun. Uh, yeah, so that's the music I've been listening to.
That's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you curious about recently?
What am I curious? Oh my God, there's a lizard. Never mind. Let me stop. There's a lizard on my wall.
Nice.
I'm gonna ignore
So
it,
it
act like
is
it's not
Jurassic
there.
Park over there.
It literally is. I don't like the house lizards, mind you. Now, what am I curious about? So many things. I'm always curious. I'm like always curious. So it's just funny even answering that because I'm like, I'm curious about just life in general. I'm curious about just kind of people's like the way that people just kind of exist day to day. Like I like knowing people's routines and like the things that they like to do. Like that's it's really fascinating to me, someone just telling me like their day-to-day routine. Um, because it's like getting this little vignette or snapshot of life.
Yeah.
So I love hearing people just talk about like their day-to-day experiences. Um, I'm curious about um I'm curious about animals around me and like their thought processes and what they think in their head if they have like
Yeah.
thoughts in like their own version of thoughts the way that we do. You know, like I'll look at my dog and be thinking like, what is he thinking? Like what
That's
is
a good
he
question.
thinking in this moment? Like I'm always wondering that because I know they have their own world. Um, I'm interested and curious about why some of my plants grow well and some keep dying.
That's always a mystery that
It's
on
a
my end is
mystery.
never solved.
That's literally me every day. I'm curious about so many
Wait, how
things.
many plants do you have? Do you just stick it
At
outside
the
and it's
moment,
like you're in the tropics and it just
no.
grows or what?
Like it depends. Like, the other day, my dad and I actually we planted like an avocado tree because we had the seed and it started like sprouting like the root and everything. So we took
Okay.
it out of the pot that we had it in and we planted it in the actual ground. And obviously it's gonna take a while to grow, but it's just so nice like planting it into the ground and stuff. And like we planted mangoes. We have one mango tree already. Um,
Is
but
it
we
produced
planted
like,
another. It really like it just oh yeah, big, like big mangoes. Like they just sprout. There's like some of them are kind of seasonal. Like we have a cherry tree but it only sprouts during like a certain season. And sometimes it's hard to even get to the cherries because like the birds will come and like pick the cherries off and they're all at like they all grow at like the very tip top of the tree.
oh,
So it's kind of difficult to get to them. But we have so many different like fruit trees and different plants and stuff. So like the land is great for growing certain fruits and certain plants, certain flowers.
yeah.
But like the ones that I have in my room and stuff, for the most part, they do pretty well. Um, but I get really like strong winds up here. So sometimes out on my balcony, certain plants I won't leave out because the winds aren't good for break the stems and stuff like that. So it's really just trial
Hmm.
and error.
Yeah.
I've realized that anything with plants is just trial and error. Like it's like trying to nurture a kid, That's how it feels. It's like, okay, what works? What gets it to learn that this is what I want you to do? I want you to grow. I want you to be healthy. Like, is
Yeah.
this what you need? Is this the nourishment that you need? And it's just so funny how some of them just like at the snap of your finger do what you want them to do, and some just don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm always trying to figure that out. What else am I curious about? I'm just
What are you
curious
curious
about
about in
everything.
society?
So
Yeah. Narrow it, narrow the focus.
in society,
Yeah.
hmm, I think like it always goes back down to perception somehow. Kind of what that the stem of where that desire kind of stems from, like for certain things. Like you ever sit and think to yourself, why you're into why you're naturally drawn to the things that you are, why certain people are drawn to you, why you're drawn to them. That interests me a lot.
Mm.
Because there's not always like a clear indication of why you feel drawn to a person. You may have certain similarities. Maybe you like certain things as that person, but I don't even think that's necessarily enough because there are so many other people that may like what you like or do the things you do, but yet you don't feel like drawn to them. You know what I mean? I feel like we've all had that. experience in life where we just feel drawn to someone in a way that it like supersedes just the natural way of things. Like you don't really have an explanation for it, but you just feel like I know this person in some sort of way. Like I'm meant to know you. Like I'm meant to be your
Yeah.
friend. Like you're meant to be in my life. Things like that in society are interesting to me. Why some people just come together. And sometimes it's like a pairing you would never expect. That's always really interesting to me. Um, I think even just looking at the world and what's going on politically, oh, we don't need to get into politics, but all of that's interesting. We're
Yeah.
not gonna do that, but all of that's really interesting. I think that anything that has to do with kind of like tribalism and very set, rigid ways of thinking and like dividing people is very interesting too. Um, and how people create that and also how they break free from that is interesting to me and how that's shaped, how that perception is kind of shaped.
How do you
That's
feel
really
people break
interesting.
from that?
Yeah, some people do break from that though. Some people do. Like I
But
think
how
that
then?
a sense of nationalism and things of that nature is ingrained in society, because it's like people want to act like it's crazy, but it's not crazy to feel a sense of pride necessarily for yourself or for a certain for your people or any of that. Pride is a
Yeah.
natural emotion and a natural thing. But I think that when it supersedes into a kind of more like elitist, tribalistic way of thinking where it's no longer like I just feel pride in myself or whatever. It's more so I feel distinctly different from you. And because I other you and you're this other, I must like keep you away, like shun
Yeah,
you away.
the
The
othering
the
thing. Yeah, I think
othering
about that
is
quite a
the
bit.
interesting part, right? Like that othering is so interesting and why it's so pronounced. And a lot of times, I think for people to break free from that, there usually has to be something that like shatters the perception, something in their face, in front of them, that specifically challenges the perception and can't be ignored. So it's like you can't say that the way you've always viewed it persists if you're seeing in front of your eyes, here is a case where that's not true. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
with something
Yeah.
that just completely breaks, like shatters that worldview. Um, and and sometimes it's broken by having it flipped onto oneself. Maybe if you've been othering and then you become othered, you're like, why am I othered now? That also could shift the
It's
perception.
an interesting label. Yeah.
Like, why am I othered?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you envision growth, success, and fulfillment in your life?
I think growth, I think I always feel to feel a sense of growth, I would have to be putting myself or always allowing myself to be put in pos in positions where I'm not necessarily always comfortable. Like I feel like that's always the best way for growth is to challenge my comfortability with things by doing things that maybe I naturally wouldn't feel inclined to do or an experience that maybe I has a little bit of fear attached to it, but I allow myself to to break through and do that. That has always been the main source of growth for me. So I think moving forward in the future, it's to continue doing things that like aren't in my comfort zone and that scare me a little bit. So I can be like, wow, I can do that thing and it's really not that scary. So I think in terms of growth, that's probably the best way for me. Um, and as far as fulfillment, I think that I feel fulfilled as long as for me to feel fulfilled, I just always have to feel that I have the agency to create. If I ever felt like I couldn't create things, that's probably the only way I wouldn't feel fulfilled, to be honest. If I couldn't
Mm.
just make something for the sake of making it, or just be able to speak my mind and turn it into a poem or a piece of writing, whatever it is. And if I'm ever not able to do that, that's probably the only way I wouldn't feel fulfilled. I just have to be able to create things and to be able to indulge in creative pursuits. And success, I don't know exactly what I would consider to be success. I think that's something I'm still um trying to understand, even for myself, because I wonder sometimes what my own personal view of success is. Like, do I find this to be an indication of success because that's what I've been told that's being successful is, or is it because I feel that to be a success specifically for me? And it's hard to kind of separate the outside view from it sometimes because I'm an artist in my own right. I care about my stuff. As Erica Badu says, I'm an artist and I care about my shit. Sorry for cursing, but that's what she says. And it's true. Um, I do care. To act like I don't care about the public perception at all is a lie because I do care to a certain degree. I definitely do. Um, so I feel like what I would like success to be is just me knowing that I I put my all into the things that I do and I'm able to build a community and have people receive that to be received and receive. That's successful to me, what I would like it to be. But in just the regular like generic sense, to actually be able to have a certain level of whether it be financial stability, um, just comfortability, all of those things because of my work and people accepting it and receiving it. Yeah, that would be indicative
Yeah,
of
like what you
success to
create.
me too, because who doesn't want that, right? To be able to say
Yeah.
you have that just from creating and doing the things that you actually like. So many people are trying to get that through doing things that they hate that they don't want to be doing. So,
A lot of people are
yeah,
successful at it
a lot of people.
and not successful at it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Huh. Well, it was such a pleasure and joy
It was so
having this
nice
conversation
talking
with
to
you,
you.
Nadia. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Honestly, it was really cool. I love these questions. Like these were really
Yeah.
good questions. Like they actually made me think about things that I just don't sit and really think about day to day. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.